original.
He was a brave son of a You look like you're a brave son of a too.
Daring today, aren't we?
Okay, I'm here to talk about a show based on a game I've never played that was based on a mod of a game I played too much of. I walked into this show expecting Dragon's Dogma levels of shit, and while it isn't close to being that shitty, I found it to be an overall forgettable experience. Okay, no, I'll remember the elf orgy. Everything else though, well, let's just dive into it. Episode 1, I can't believe it's not Shiro. Get ready for a masterclass in shit you don't need to know. I'm 10 seconds in, and they've already lost me.
In the beginning, there was only the primordial mind. He and the dire thought and action. Chaos of the infinite.
So, let me just get this straight. The entire universe is just God tripping balls after inventing schizophrenia. And despite all that, this world is still basic as shit. Why are they putting so much effort into this? It was in the video game. Of fucking course it was. Look, there's a demon named Terrorblade. That is literally the only thing you need to know. So let's move on because now there's dragons. Big, fake dragons. So it looks better than Invincible's backgrounds. Here to save the day is the hero of this show, Davian the Dragon Knight, who is just Shiro's little bastard love child cosplaying as Guts with the personality of take your pick. Stepping up to fight the uncanny dragon, he ties up the competition only for the prey to head home after deciding they're not into that kinky shit. Returning to its underground lair for some R&R, the hero, Ian, chases after it. And looking at this character design, how do you think he sounds? Because whatever you imagined, it's not that.
My name means something to me, to my brothers in Dragonhold. Dishonoring myself dishonors them.
Stupid.
Yeah, Yuri Lowenthal's really miscast here. This is way out of his twink comfort zone. Like, this is what the Japanese voice actor sounds like.
名前は俺にとって意味がある。ドラゴンホールドの兄弟にも名誉を汚すわけにはいかない。
バカよ。
That is the sound of a man who fucks, forsaking usual cares to kill shit. But whatever, Davian slays the eyesore and finds the nest of stolen kills, which leads them to a giant dragon hole which has super dragons in it. Mutton Chops are the new evil goatee dude, insists they kill it. Dragon Slayer's already gone, back to the bar, but stops to swear at an orphan.
You're a brave son of a bitch too.
After grooming the miner to be a dragon witcher, Davian hits the bars with his sidekick who just don't bother remembering him. He'll be gone for the next 6 episodes. But if you need a name, just call him what I do, Straight Lance. Davian with Straight Lance enjoys women, beer, and still frames. After the non-moving agony, Davian meets the other main character at the bar. This is Princess Marana, who you'll just love, because she's a princess, except she's not. She's a priest, except she's not. She has an evil uncle, except it doesn't matter. Gotta love those tacked on tropes. Mandatory couple has their first flirt fight. That ends how all these bar hookups start, with Davian buying her the wrong drink. Big target on her head, Marana returns to her corner, and Marcy, who is the best character in the show. She's mute, she's cute, and she breaks shit. Elf Rogue asks if they want to be in his D&D sesh. He does start them on their MacGuffin quest though, telling them to ask someone else. But before you can finish that scene, we have to be reminded that this is supposed to be medieval times, so they bring up the 2 R's. Racist and rapey. How is that any different? The accents.
Ah, my future ex-wife. And my other future ex-wife, huh?
Probably doing this to get laid, Davian steps up to be a great guy, which is easy when everyone else is trying to commit a hate crime. But he saves the elf, but then we go back to the character of no importance, who gets possessed by a demon named Terrorblade. Next morning, Davian has some awkward pillow talk.
You don't even know my name, do you?
No, he was wondering why you were still here. Straight Lance lets his boss know about the idiot going after the dragon, bailing him out of having to explain how not to find him. Rushing to the hole, he discovers that Mudface won. But now another dragon is here, and after much more exposition, kills that dude. So the demon with the Decepticon name hijacks the other dragon. Hero risks his neck to kill the damn thing, and gets rewarded as his eyebrows deserve. He wakes up naked in the woods, surrounded by women. 10 out of 10, he'd do it again. Episode 2, a were-dragon, a princess, and a murder machine walk into a bar. Flashback to Davian's wild night. Now he's naked in the woods and about to be mounted. Retail princess thinks he's a distraction they don't need, but he's hot, so they let him tag along. Normal Sunday attire Davian walks to the closest bar where all the girls know him by name, but he doesn't remember any of them because of course he doesn't. Paint shouting for a character of little importance. Then we get a lesson why you shouldn't mix drinks.
Was that
Swallows coughs up a ring which belongs to the local gang. Just call them Team Body Bags. Davian takes the time to clear up the misunderstanding. Then he heads out so he can clear it up more permanently next time. In the A-plot, Team Moon Knights goes off to meet someone's sugar daddy.
We have a better offer than...
Shit. Isn't that the guy from SAO Abridged? Whatever, this guy decides to kidnap the princess to pay for his new hobby of losing teeth. Elsewhere, Shiro's soul holder is losing money to the more deserving heroes, but screw him, he ain't doing anything this episode. Brunettes accept their third fetch quest in 2 episodes. Future Boy Toy is out of money, about to get jumped, and lying that he'll be fine, but they're already gone. Body Bag Gang arrives to avenge their fallen idiots. Almost get away with it too, if only Mirana didn't max out her archery skill. Shanged Pinata Davian has dragon blood, so roll those stupid credits. Reflection brings him back to himself because he only slays monsters. Baby monsters, cool. Monster lovers, even better. But violent thugs? Not cool. Princess Evac team drags his naked body into the woods for the 2nd time today and figures he has no more surprises to show them, so they might as well bring him to the mysterious sage who will probably have all their answers. Hold on to those questions though, it's time for elves because they're just a staple of fantasy. But hey, at least we get to end on Elf Girl reuniting with her parents. I still could be right. Episode 3, are you sure the elves aren't cousins? Backstory time. Well, more backstory. The Moon Princess's night shift guarding flowers got interrupted by a thief. They don't explain why these things are important other than
the lotuses? The unfettered power of our goddess.
Which could be anything from plutonium to coffee. Then the elvish Aussie stole a few and made her escape while the unexplained magic attacks her. Cut back to Nowhere Elf Girl, Fimrin. I do not know if I'm pronouncing that right, and I kinda don't care. Girl is with her pod, which doesn't sound like a sex thing, but it is. This is the dumb one, the hot one, and the male with the most speaking lines. Back in the elf village, we waste more time with exposition. How the elves had a goddess that got replaced by another goddess. Now their people are split up all over the world. Normal persecution things. Girl thinks that she's the chosen one, even having the powers to prove it, and heads off to Troy Baker's tower, where after some Scooby-Doo bullshit, he takes her flowers and throws them out of the house. Not before giving Fimrin a livestream coin though. Disappointed. They fuck. Afterwards, Buff Moon Lady is here. She's a violent soldier obsessed with doing her duty for someone who low-key hates her. I call her Moon Jasper. Moon Jasper kills 3 out of the 4 elves, and the main girl gets ported by the elf from The Lord of the Rings. If you wonder why was she in a poly relationship, it's because killing the love interest is cheap engagement, so they just tripled down on it. Over in the other story, the quest to reenact Frozen has proven more difficult than anticipated. Tenhead distrusts her were crush and ends up going on a different side quest, with zombies, drugs, and a magic space rock, only to reject madness to go back to being boring. Forgiving Davian for his condition, he didn't choose to be this way, he's just milking it way too much. Episode 4. Moon and Dragon Sims. We finally get to meet the moon goddess everyone keeps talking about, whose idea of worship is aggressively flirting and one-side devotion. Telling Buff Ponytail murder is cool as long as it's for religious purposes, but let's ignore that touchy subject and go back to our band of heroes. One of the only things I'd call good in this show. Team, why not have a ride at the Dragon Knight Clubhouse where they can chill and get drunk?
Yeah, that's why they call it Dragon's Fire.
Try to anyway. Then after 2 seconds of eye contact that counts as romance, Old Man Smithers walks in. This is Caden, famous Dragon Knight, world's strongest man, former Atlantis explorer. He's obsessed with killing dragons after the one inside Davian killed all his friends. Inviting them to dinner, the meal doesn't agree with the soft D anymore due to the bigger D inside him taking offense. Then after story time, he explains that he knows about the dragon booty hole. He explored it and found Davian's merch, and that it's okay that he chickened out, because not everyone can pull off the power stash. Finally, on a similar page, Davian is still in denial and his attempts at hooking up with a princess ends with him getting a stern lecture to not be a pussy. Just tell the older man about his condition. It's okay though, he already knows. Dragon is forced out of the human closet, where he and the old man have a rousing discussion about metaphysics, the world ending, and revenge. It's all meaningless. Literally. All you have to say is that if you could kill me, the world would end. Because my soul is tied to reality. The complexity edition of this show's world building is just too much. Especially when, again, this world is basic as shit. Old man dude decides to make this a dick measuring contest and freeze the were dragon so they can fight. He's got dragon armor giving him a bunch of magical abilities, but really they just make him the avatar. Main guy nearly dies but loses his buff when the princess steps in, giving Davian just enough time to make everything worse, going full dragon and taking this fight outside. Then we skip that so he can just grab his friends and leave. In the Elvish subplot, token elf girl Fimrin is yelling at the bookworm that life is meaningless, where can I get my revenge? And that hits him personally, so he gives her a book while he zooms his ex, the moon goddess. Yes, I too assumed he could do better. Catching her destroying her disciple, she swears that she didn't kill them. Really could use that horny stick right now. Then, because all gorgeous bookworms are secretly evil, he claims that all the elves are coming to kill her, YOLO, bye, causing Selenene to declare a game of simp or genocide. Yeah, I thought it was an overreaction too. Episode 5, please stop fucking talking. Okay, so Davian's gone berserk and can't control his dragon body. The dragon's gone crazy, and he's no help, leaving it to Marcy to save the day.
Marcy, are you okay?
And like that, they're screwed. Meanwhile, the nudist is trapped inside the spirit realm or something like that, talking with these dragons who all look cool, but it's more of that overly worded exposition, so I kinda don't care. Dragons are the pillar of this reality. Killing them is bad. Davian hates dragons. Cool, good to know. You hate dragons so much it's defined your life. I don't buy it though, when his default personality is surf bro. Like, it's hinted at. Have this reveal now just rings hollow. Outside of this vision, Mirana and Marcy are running for their lives, trying not to get eaten. Their initial plan of doing something falls apart, and they're stuck doing the tried and true I know you're in there speech, which works because why not? Convincing Davian not to let the Dragon Lords kill him to save his friends, freeing him, and getting naked just in case you were dozing off. The shopkeeper's amulet from episode 2 reveals the Sage's Tower, which turns out to be the same wizard who is giving Fimrin the short version of the tragedy that is his life. Also, the stripper has arrived. Episode 6, War Crimes and Sensibilities. 3 people walk up to your door unannounced, 2 of them dying, the others naked. What do? And like that, all the red flags have been raised. Emo-aware Fimrin doesn't want anything to do with the Moon Women. The invoker of hair products could care less. Then, in case you're wondering who the bad guy was, the forced conversion and enslavement camps just give it away immediately. They try to have the horrors of war on both sides argument here, but I kinda don't care. Moonjaster's hot, but she has next to zero character, and I kinda wish they cut her out of the story. Like, yes, die in this ambush. This season desperately needs to cut some of these B-plots so we can focus on what really matters. Yes, less CGI, thank you. Now, what were we talking about again?
Fracture into an infinite number of different real pillars of creation, elements, 4 fundamental forces. Make the world in his image.
I know why they're explaining this. This lore is just too high concept for this story, I'm sorry. If this was like a more interesting world, I would really love to see them go into more detail like, oh, this is how this appears, this is how this world works, but no, this is bargain bin D&D. You don't need to try this hard. Like, all we need to know, that there's a demon named Terrorblade who wants the dragon souls to reshape reality. Simple plan, simple way of doing it. But the backstory for how all of this works, it's just overcomplicated.
There's a solution here you're not seeing.
Like Luna, former war criminal, is about to do more war crimes. Like, there's potential here, but not enough time to execute. Invoker, he has time, and we get the explanation for why he's doing this, and how this is basically all one massive revenge quest to make everyone hate his ex as much as he does. Meanwhile, our main heroes exist kind of solely as pawns in this story, which can work, but it's not enough. Whatever. Invoker wants Mirana to take the MacGuffins to Selemene to convince her to stop the war, which he knows she won't do. Mirana doesn't trust him because he's the devil in their religion, so after a few drinks, warm talks, and a quick makeout sesh, Mirana decides to accept the deal. Fimrin just wants blood, but this isn't her story, it's Troy's Baker's, and that deep, rough, buttery voice. There's also this other thing going on, but it doesn't matter. Like, seriously, you could cut this out and lose nothing, except a longer intro in season 2. His master troll plan is set. He sends Fimrin with them because he's the only one allowed to brood in this tower. He also wants Dragon Boy, as soon as everything's wrapped up, of course. Episode 7, why not ship everyone together? All right, open this one with Baker killing one of those Dragon Lords everyone keeps talking about. In other character news, has a problem Davian is hungover and getting grilled on his relationship status, while his more than a friend provides a lifetime's worth of side-eye. Permanent whisper voice reminisces about his daughter. He loved her very much, but she was dying from too good for this sinful earth disease. No one can fix her, so he takes her to Mommy Dearest, the moon goddess, who at the sight of her daughter dying decides to pull a dick move and demands he pledge himself to her, that he will love her forever. He knows how fucked up this is, but loves his daughter too much to not do it. Then when it's the child's turn to pledge herself to an eternal abuser, she has thoughts.
Fuck no!
Stelmane leaves her daughter to die, and we now know why Invoker is on, well, his everything. Speaking of the quest, the rest of the cast has stopped to discuss how weird they think the other one's love life is. How could you not? Fimrin thought that they were all sleeping together, but Davian has to carefully explain how that probably won't happen. The princess rapidly changes the conversation by pointing out to everyone this is all the elf girl's fault for stealing the flowers. Insult, retort, backfire. Girl decides enough of these judgmental bitches and steals the box. This new plan succeeds, if she was trying to die, with dragons chasing her and her powers not working with the box, forcing the man to take one for the team and start a shipping war that I have no investment in. His watered down Raylan guts doesn't interest me. Mirana's cool though, and Marcy needs a raise for putting up with all this shit. And in Yuri Lowenthal's big speech, this one line killed me.
Dying here, now? That does. It means you never learned a goddamn thing.
Oh my god, I know what they're trying to do there, but it sounds so goddamn awkward. I really wish they just picked a different expletive for that one. Dragon mess cleared, Dragon Man admits he's dying from being a were-dragon. The group reconvenes, with everyone agreeing to trust the idiot and hate everyone else. Episode 8, Endings, with depression. Alright, final episode, last chance to make me invested in this story. After 7 episodes, Not Lance is back in the story with Grizzled Dragon Killer. They're here to set up season 2 and nothing else. Kinda don't think they even had to be in this season, but whatever. Finally makes into the woods they've been looking for, except, yeah, dead people. So they hang around and bury the stiffs. Finally making it to the village, where the moon people aren't happy to see them. Till they recognize their princess, and yeah, I still don't know why she's royalty. Moon women argue over who screwed up more, between failing to kill a thief versus yeah, it's her, she's the worst. Everyone spends the night trying to figure out what they'll do next, lots of hugs all around, goodbyes are said, children are singing an innocent song meaning disaster is about to happen. Fimrin tries to free the rebel leader.
Lamane gave us back our taste for blood. I will drink it by the bucketful.
And you know what? That's fine. I don't care enough to question it. The Dragon Knight and Rogue are heading off, while the whole peace thing goes south real fast, with the Invoker's masterstroke finally being complete and cutting off all the Moon People's powers. And the leader of the Elves kicks off the Revenge Massacre. Elsewhere, the Moon Vatican gets a demonic interruption with the cost-saving demon fighting the Moon Ass herself. Newsflash, she loses. Out in the woods, people are dying left and right, though you really couldn't tell with these things. Zealot gets owned by Second Best Girl. Davian transforms to help save the day, only to get jumped by his old crew, with the elf following him and leaving her get out jail free card. The two characters that should have been folded into one have a death confession, but enough about the side characters. Invoker finally gets his revenge, and all it took was selling out the universe to a demon.
Do you love me?
Wielding the sword of light, even in the darkest night.
Okay, that was Dota Dragon's Blood, a semi-likable production that could shape up to be good if the next season doesn't shit the bed. The story definitely struggles from trying to do too much world building, but to do that, they compromise on the characters, leaving them in the background for long stretches of time while leaving any new addition woefully underdeveloped. Like the Moon Knight didn't need to be in this show, and them trying to give her depth rings hollow when her character is based around events we neither see nor pop up in any real relevant way outside of one character mentioning things. The main cast, they're fine, but they do feel like bit characters in a much grander story. I think the scenes with them just together are some of the stronger moments in the show, with the most interesting character in the story being Invoker, was far and away the character I wanted to know the most about, based on one episode of flashbacks. I honestly wanted to see him get his revenge, and that final line, is just perfect. Throwing the same question back in her face was probably the most satisfying thing in this season, which on a whole feels like it's just set up for future events, which could explain the heavy use of exposition and world building. But as I said in the video, I found these monologues to be incredibly uninteresting. I think there's a balance to be struck between what we, the audience, need to know and fleshing out the world. Like, best example to explain this, you don't need to read the Silmarillion to understand Lord of the Rings. This show wants to do both, and it's not working out. Because the idea of how this world came to be are very much a take it on faith that this is how the story works. Like, everything in this universe is based on a god dreaming and fighting itself. The big bad wants to remake the world with the power of dragon souls. So just an example of like simplifying the dialogue, when invokers and talking about, oh, the 4 elements, the 4 forces, these represent the dragon souls and they control reality. No, you literally have to just say, all you need to say is that the Elder Worm's souls hold great power and having all 8 can rewrite reality. That's it. In a nutshell, all you need to know and say. We'll just accept it that this is what will happen when someone gets these souls. I don't need to know anything else, and you can save the greater mind god bit for later on. Although, I call this a promising if confusing start to a series. I'll definitely check out season 2, but we'll need to see how it goes from here. Hope you all like this video, like, share, and subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and please, have a great one.